Titan's Tears by Chad Lester. Read by Amy Hancock. Prologue, Oregon. A newborn wailed in the arms of a sobbing young mother. Footprints marked the otherwise pristine snow. The cutting winter wind blew the woman's red scarf against her frostbit face as she trudged through knee-high snowpack. Under the dying light of the moon, she continued, one step in front of the other. Wolves howled from the conifers beyond. She clutched her little one closer. The snow was getting deeper, up to her waist now. Her newborn wailed. She tried to shush the baby, but it was no use, and now both of them were crying. Something rustled beyond the tree line, a lurking shadow. She wasn't used to being alone in the woods. Whatever it was, it had been following them since she started at the trailhead. She tried to move faster, but it was much harder moving now. Every step was more exhausting than the last, and the bite of the cold sapped what little strength she had. She knew she shouldn't have tried to make such a trek in her condition, and she knew it was stupid to come out all this way by herself. But she needed to do it before anyone found out. She took a few more steps and collapsed. As she lay in the snow, the wind brought in the smell of wood smoke. She was close. She groaned as she grabbed a nearby branch with one hand and climbed back to her wobbling feet. With her other hand, she clutched her infant to her chest. She followed the scent until she came upon a lone, 40-foot-tall bell tower in the middle of the woods. Below it stood a time-worn hacienda with wooden shutters and a terracotta roof. A dull, flickering yellow light filled one of the hacienda's windows. It wasn't just a dream. It was real, and she had found it. She stumbled to a wrought iron gate that led to an inner courtyard. She tried to lift the latch, but it was frozen. Crying out, she shook and pounded the gate. It didn't budge. She began to walk toward the other side of the compound in hopes of finding another way in. Then came a squeal. She looked back and noticed that the gate was now open. She lurched her way into the courtyard and saw a wooden sign that read, "Donations." Below the sign was a door. She opened it and walked inside. Only a single oil lamp illuminated the plain plaster walls and rough-cut timbers of the floors and ceilings. Halfway up the wall was a built-in shelf with a revolving cupboard atop it, a barrier between the worldly and the sacred. Next to the turnstile was a single brass bell with a long string attached. She gazed at her infant one last time and began to place her on the shelf. As she let her child slip from her arms, she hesitated. She turned her head and tried not to look at her little girl, but she couldn't help herself. Her breath came heavy and she started sobbing. Then she clenched her jaw hard and placed her little one on the shelf and slowly turned the revolving cupboard. She put her hand on the long string of the bell and held it for what felt like an eternity. "I'm sorry," she whispered. She rang it. Then she fled the hacienda and hobbled back down toward the trailhead, her tears frozen against the winter wind.